Alright guys, welcome back to Duty's Daggers. Please subscribe and like the video. I want to talk today about two really sweet heavy-duty work knives made here in the USA. Up here we have the McNeese Mac 2 3.5 inch and we have the Hinderer XM18 3.5 inch. Both 3.5 inch blades. One has a much longer handle than the other, but same amount of blade length here. I think a lot of people might be trying to decide between these two brands, not these two specific knives, but you know, McNeese is known for making really heavy-duty work knives, and so is Hinderer. Hinderer knives are very heavy-duty, beefy. But I also want to bring out two other, you know, really nice American-made heavy-duty work knives as well. So this is not just a comparison between these two. I'm going to bring out two others here in a minute. But first I want to kind of compare these two, because they're both 3.5 inch blades. So starting here first, the McNeese Mac 2. This is the smooth tie version. They call it an atomic stonewash, which looks really beautiful. This is a pretty compact knife. I think this is the most compact 3.5 inch blade around there that I own. Look how that tip is right next to the butt of the knife. They are not wasting any space. They're using up all of that handle to fit that blade inside of it. It is a lot of bang for a small package. It's really cool, and you know, because the handle is the way it is. There's no need for like a choke up spot or a choil or anything, because they give you this little spot right here. See, here's this groove, and then there's another nice little smaller one right here for that pointer finger to just rest right in, and you are so nice and close to that edge. You don't need to choke up because you're already right there. And it's so comfortable up here, man. It really is. So the way that it's designed is really compact. And you know, it's beefy. It's got thick blade stock, very thick tip, but it's relatively slicey back here. We've got this is a flat grind version, and we're looking at, let's see, 20 thousandths behind the edge there. Up in the middle it gets a little thinner at 17 thousandths. And then up at the tip, it goes way up to 24 thousandths. So back here, it's nice and slicey, man. This thing cuts. It's not like beefy to the point where it's just not a good slicer. Obviously, there's other knives that will slice better than this, but for what it is, for having this thick a blade stock, for being this heavy duty, this really cuts really well. The pocket clip works great. I was having a little trouble with the really thick seams on my Carhartts. I had to actually bend this point up a tiny bit to you know, to accept my pocket seam. But not a big deal at all. Titanium frame lock. There's really no frills on this thing. It is very plain. There's no over travel stop. Is there a lock bar? I don't even think there's, yeah, it's a carbonized titanium lock face, so there's no lock bar insert here. No over travel stop, nothing. And, you know, that's kind of the opposite of a Hinderer. A Hinderer has an over travel stop. They call it an LBS, a lock bar stabilizer, which is just an over travel stop. Hinderer says that he invented the over travel stop. He says he invented the lock bar stabilizer, which is really just an over travel stop. He says he invented it. I don't know. Maybe he did. But that's down here. So the Hinderer has more bells and whistles. There's just more going on, just visually. More going on. It has the two-way reversible clip, so it's got a tip up or tip down carry here. So you got a filler tab up there. You know, 3 big barrel spacers. The McNeese has 2. As far as blade stock thickness, let's see what we got. The hinder is 163 thousandths. McNeese, 150. So McNeese is a slightly thinner blade stock. Now this used to be a Spanto blade shape, but it was reground into just a regular drop point. So they took away that kind of thicker part up here, just making it nice, hollow, and thin. Now this knife, before it had the regrind, was, I think, a little too thick behind the edge. It was significantly thicker than the McNeese was. So, you know, it can still cut. Not the greatest slicer, but very heavy duty. I just wanted to get a regrind. I wanted it to be a little bit more slicey, and it may be slightly less tough, but I mean, look how thick the tip still is. It's plenty tough still. We have the external stops on the hinderer, which also are the thumb studs. So those fall into these little grooves here, acting as the stop pin, and there's a regular stop pin as well. So there's 1, 2, 3 points of contact when that blade's locked open. Well, 4 if you include the lock bar. So this is really sturdy lockup. Does it need to be that sturdy? I don't know, but I mean, why not? You know, might as well. If you can do it, do it. You know, it makes the knife heavier and more going on, but whatever. It's got the tri-way pivot system, which means you can either put bearings, phosphor bronze washers, or Teflon washers in the pivot. You can interchange between any of them. It comes with the correct spacers that you need to accommodate any of those things. Right now I have in skiff bearings, and I like that the best, I think. I ran this knife with washers for a little bit, and it was fine, but you know, it just acted like a washer knife would. It wasn't like a crazy smooth washer knife either, just kind of a regular washer knife. And some people say washers are better for work knives. You know, it prevents debris from getting in the pivot. In my experience, I have had zero problem carrying bearing knives at work, and if anyone's going to have a problem, I would. I'm constantly at the angle grinder, creating metal dust in the air that gets everywhere. Metal shavings, chips, all that kind of stuff, dirt, dust. I just blow it out with compressed air at the end of the day before I go home, and I've never had a problem. So, and that's the other thing, some people say with bearings, you can blow them out and get that debris out. Whereas with bearings, if there's debris in there, it's harder to get in there, but once it's in there, you kind of got to take the knife apart to get it out. So, pros and cons with both. I like bearings, though, a lot of times. At least on this knife, I do. Now, the ergos on the hinderer are extremely good. You know, I think better than the McNeese. The McNeese doesn't have any hot spots or anything, but the hinderer is just a really locked-in, extremely ergonomic feeling. The way this flipper tab curls down, it creates like a really nice finger guard right here and a really comfortable spot to brace up against. You almost feel like you're holding a dagger with like a cross guard or something. And then choked above, it's extremely comfortable too, because instead of cradling your pointer finger, you cradle your middle finger there, and then the pointer finger goes in this nice big generous choil, and it's really comfy. As you got S45 VN versus MagnaCut. McNeese does great with their MagnaCut. It's 63, 64 HRC, which is awesome. I think I would still probably prefer S45 VN. I'm tired of MagnaCut, guys. I'm just tired of it. But as far as MagnaCut goes, this is what you want. And I haven't had any problems with it. I'm just tired of it. The clips are pretty similar, actually. They are not deep carry. You got the 2 screws, and then, you know, above the actual clip part, right around the same size. The hinderer is a little bit wider. Both have the lanyard loops. Both have the lock bar relief cutouts on the outside of the knife. So there you go. If you, you know, kind of depends what you like more aesthetically. This is a cheaper route if you want a full titanium frame lock. These come with G10 most of the time, and then you got to pay up another $200 to get a titanium scale on it. I believe XM18s are around $425 new with the G10, so you're looking at $625 around there total if you want a full titanium one. And I think this is around 5 something, like 520, 530, 540, something like that. It comes out to be cheaper. So pros and cons for both, you know. So it's a little more ergonomic. This one's a more compact package. Overall, just easier to carry because it is smaller in the handle, but you have the same exact amount of blade. So pretty cool. Now let's bring out some other heavy-duty work knife legends. The Demco 8020. This is one of my favorite big, beefy work knives. I absolutely love this thing. I've said it before. If I could pick a knife to take into a survival situation, this would probably be it. Extremely strong locking mechanism. Going to be definitely stronger than these frame locks here. Just really ergonomic. It's big. There it is next to the McNees. And next to the hander there. G10 instead of titanium, so there's that. A little lighter. Well, we'll weigh them in a second. It might not actually be that much lighter. The G10 is really thick. I can't even flex these things squeezing. Really thick G10. I have a deep carry lynch clip on this one. 3V blade steel, very tough blade steel. Might not have the edge retention that these other knives will get, but it's going to be a tougher steel. I love this full flat grind version because this actually slices, man. This thing slices. You wouldn't think so looking at this thick blade stock, but it does, man. It really does. Blade stock thickness, 179 thousandths, so it's the thickest so far on the table here. It's just amazing. You know, the shark lock is so amazingly strong, but also like just fun. You know, it's just fun. It's fidgety. It makes the best sounds ever. I just really love it. This is a knife I will never, ever, ever get rid of. And my fourth pick is the Spyderco Shaman. A heavy-duty work knife legend. This is the 15V version. It's got these Taro Tough scales on and an MXG deep carry clip. Look how good that looks, man. I'm going to be doing some further mods to this and entering it into our mod competition we're doing. Such a smooth compression lock. This is on washers. The only one out here on washers. Yeah, that's on bearings. You got the compression lock, so it's a really easy locking mechanism, kind of like the shark lock. Just don't have to put your fingers in here to unlock anything. Just bam. Probably the thinnest blade stock out here. Let's see, 145 thousandths. Yep. Probably the most useful blade shape on the table too. It's a spear point Spyderco leaf shaped blade. So you've got a really dropped down tip, a little bit of straight, and then belly up to that low tip. It's just good at everything. It can do utility cuts. It can slice. It can do everything you want it to do. It can do food preppy style cuts on a cutting board or some kind of surface. It's just so good at everything, man. Full flat grind, or at least very close to a full flat grind. Ergonomically incredible. I mean, just absolutely hand-meltingly comfortable. So these are them. These are my picks for, at least in my collection, my best and favorite heavy-duty work knives. What would you guys pick? If you own one of these, or if you own all of them, let me know what's your favorite. If you could have one of these, if I could pick it up off the table and hand it to you, which one would it be? Let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Please like the video before you leave. That's it. I'll see you soon.